it's just
Are you throwing out
it's not fun.
any support towards anyone, or are you going to hold off and because I know, didn't Elon Musk come out recently for DeSantis?
Yeah, I think Ron DeSantis would work as a good president.
What's going on, you guys? Today we have the Humanist Report going in on Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan has become a cultural icon for the right. Let's get into it.
Liberal Joe Rogan has announced that as a liberal, he will be voting for Ron DeSantis in 2024. I think it was like a couple of weeks ago where he tried to prove how liberal he was, but instead of talking about all of the leftist policies that he supported, he kept interrupting himself to talk about how conservative he is. I'm pretty sure I did a segment either on Twitch or on YouTube, but let's listen to the Lib endorse a far-right fascist for 2024.
Yeah, so all this stuff is happening while we have a dead man as a president.
Yeah.
Now, I'll pause it. That's true. Biden is a zombie. So I have no qualms with people who want to shit on Joe Biden or liberals because I do that all the time. But the difference is you don't shit on Democrats because they're too woke or too left. You shit on Democrats because they're too conservative. But from his perspective, as a rich person, you know, maybe he's duped by the culture war, but also he's a rich guy. So rich people flock to Republicans like flies on shit. They love rich people because they know that they deliver. I mean, Trump, one of the main things that he did was cut the taxes of him and his rich friends. So it's hard to not find that as something that is alluring if you're a rich person like Joe Rogan. But then again, I don't really know what his motivations are because he's pretty dumb. So perhaps the culture war wins him over. Either way, let's listen to his rationale here.
You know, it's just
Are you throwing out any
it's not fun.
Any support towards anyone, or are you going to hold off and because I know, didn't Elon Musk come out recently for DeSantis?
Yeah, I think Ron DeSantis would work as a good president. I mean,
imagine going from Bernie Sanders in 2020 to Ron DeSantis in 2024. Like, we all rightfully make fun of Bill Maher from going from Bernie in 2016 to Amy Klobuchar in 2020. But I mean, Joe Rogan jumps from one side of the political spectrum to the complete other side. It's just,
and Joe Rogan's what happens whenever you mix probably some psychedelics with human growth hormone. It's got to completely sever the critical thinking stem in your brain to support someone like Ron DeSantis, who, you know, it's very, very clear that I think he's transphobic. I think he's like outwardly likes to speak against trans people. He'll probably never tell you that. But I just think that, you know, to support someone like that and then to also make that public to your entire audience is just insane.
I mean, if you're a fan of his, you've got to have whiplash, right?
And what he's done for Florida has been admirable.
Look, I feel like
What has he done for Florida? Well, as Matt Lech points out here, Florida population, 21 million. Taiwan population, 23 million. Death from COVID in Florida, 75,671. Deaths from COVID in Taiwan, 6,448. So the good thing that Ron DeSantis did in Florida was pretend as if the global pandemic wasn't actually a thing. Oh, and another thing that he did was he repopularized homophobia. It's not like homophobia was non-existent in Florida, but he passed the Don't Say Gay law, which he copied from Hungary's dictator, Viktor Orban. And now, because of that law, I have a video coming out about this, teachers are basically being discriminated against, and that's mandated by the state. They're forced to remove any rainbow lanyards that they have or stickers that they have on their desk. If they're in a same-sex marriage, they're forced to take away that photograph of their spouse. So what exactly did DeSantis do? Well, a bunch of horrible fascistic things. And he also created an election integrity police unit. Now, he says that in Florida, I mean, their elections are secure. So you'd think, well, wait, why do you need a police integrity unit or election integrity unit or whatever the fuck he created? And it's because he is power hungry. He consolidated the power of the executive in Florida. But Ron DeSantis does all this, and Joe Rogan's like, oh, no, he did good, though. Letting everyone just die in his state, that's good. I like that. Ridiculous.
Doing breaking news right now. Yeah. That wasn't even on purpose.
I feel like what he did for Florida, a lot of people gave him a lot of grief, but ultimately he was correct. He was correct.
He was correct. Tens of thousands of people died in Florida due to COVID because he wouldn't take it seriously. And what he did was correct. All of those lives can't come back. You couldn't even do the bare minimum with a fucking mask mandate. Unreal. And yet these same people say that they're pro-life. Not Joe Rogan, to be fair. He's not pro-life. But
I mean, at the end of the day, Joe Rogan is going to, completely shift to the right because of this whole COVID thing. That was the entire movement to begin with. And he shifted over to, to somebody like DeSantis, which is just a crazy pick. But yeah, I mean, I think that whenever the vaccine came out, I think that it was a tricky situation. And, you had people that were going to get it, people that weren't going to get it. It's very clear now that it was very harmful to a lot of people. And yeah, I mean, I sort of wish that I didn't get it at the time. But at the same vein, it's like, well, you didn't know that it was going to be as detrimental as it was, that it was going to be as harmful as it was to everyone.
All these conservatives who refuse to wear a fucking piece of cloth over their faces during the pandemic, they're the same ones claiming, oh, we're pro-life. This is a pro-death party, and the cruelty is what turns people on to people like DeSantis. People find fascism and authoritarian strongman alluring, right? They like decisiveness, and that is what Ron DeSantis is. He's a monster, but perhaps that's why, Joe Rogan likes him.
It comes to, deaths. He was correct when it comes to protecting our vulnerable populations. He was correct in terms of distribution of monoclonal antibodies, and he was furious when the government tried to pull those. They were trying to pull very effective treatments. He is not perfect. He's a human being, but
not perfect is a very, very charitable phrase.
He's done is stand up for freedoms, and people think
stand up for freedoms. He is attacking freedom of speech in his state. Isn't this guy a free speech warrior? Ron DeSantis is the fascist governor who signed a bill to essentially decriminalize running over protesters with cars.
Yeah, again, I mean, I've said it before. I'll say it a million times over. If you feel like the Democratic Party is not there for you, and if you feel like they're starting to turn their back on you, whether, because Joe Rogan has felt this way with Bernie Sanders, he obviously felt like that with COVID. If you feel like that, I don't care how much you feel like that. I can tell you for certain, coming from a family that's highly Republican, they're not going to save you. The Republicans hate you more than you feel like the Democratic Party does. There's no breaking out of that mold. If you feel like the Democratic Party's not there for you, congrats. Nobody's there for you. Just because the Democrats are not there for you does not mean that the Republicans can save you. If you need, and actually, if you're going to support the Republicans, know that you're supporting the people that are caring less about anything. If there's any type of hope, it would come from the Democrats. It's not that, I would rather all of this, terrible stuff, that, I would rather this party that I feel like might not have my back. It's that if the Democratic Party doesn't have my back, then no party does whatsoever. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, though. It's another day in the progressive way.